it up. It's The Record Machine with your host, Jimi Holl. gentlemen, from the band Apocalyptic Lovers, drummer David Hope is on the program. So how you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I know that you got a big gig coming up. I guess it's in like 2 months almost, right? Or less than 2 months? You're going to be playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go, right?
Yeah, it's like a big bucket list gig for us. It's something that we should have done way back in the 90s when we were called Love and War. So it's long overdue, and it's just like everything aligned, and it was crazy because, we all live in different states. So for us to get together to do a gig is quite challenging, especially since my guitar player, Mike, is a full-time firefighter. And the other guys are busy, too. He's got a crazy schedule. Mike is a full-time firefighter. He's in a couple different cover bands. He's got a lot of kids in his family, too. So it's always a challenge. And I don't know how it happened, but, like, the one band we all agree upon and really love and grew up, admiring and kind of modeling ourselves after was Dokken.
Mm-hmm.
And, for us to be able to play out, the general rule of thumb is, it's going to be night, and we're going to need at least a couple months' notice to plan flights and stuff like that. And we also wanted to be a good target audience for us. And oh my God, it just, I'd been talking to the Whiskey for some time. And at the time I was talking to a very nice girl booking there. Her name's Devin, and who's since moved on. But she and I were trying to work stuff out here and there. And it was really funny. She reached out and was like, hey, do you want to open for so-and-so? And whatever the so-and-so band was like a tribute band. I'm like, well, we're, really looking for more of a targeted audience, like one of the 80s hair metal bands,
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, we haven't put it out there yet, but do you want to open for Dokken? And I was like, it wasn't even listed yet. I'm like, are you kidding me? She's
Wow.
like, no. I'm like, well, not unless it's on a weekend. She's like, well, as a matter of fact, it's a Saturday night. I'm like, oh my God. So like I got on the horn and got a hold of everybody, and lo and behold, everybody was available. It was the craziest thing. It was like everything. It was like meant to be. So, Saturday night, April 20th, we have the 8:45 p.m. opening slot for Dokken at the Whiskey A Go-Go. It's like, it's just a dream thing for us. We probably won't play the Whiskey or the West Coast again for quite some time, and unless the days, it's just hard for us, and it's probably one and done for us in the Whiskey in LA. So we're really looking forward to it. It's an iconic club.
Mm-hmm.
Think about who's played there, and there's really not anybody you can't name has.
Right.
Whether you grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and it's crazy the bands that have played there.
Mm-hmm. Now your album Apocalyptic Lovers, Redemption Volume 1, that was produced by a guy who's worked with Dokken, is that correct?
Yeah. Just so happens to be, Michael Wagner, who some people in the genre consider a mixing legend. He mixed the record, and it was on purpose, honestly. We had a great friend of ours working on the record with us, recording it. We decided after a very long hiatus, and if a lot of people don't know about us that are listening to your podcast and show, we were together from 91 to 97-ish
Mm-hmm.
as a band called Love and War. And Love and War decided, the hell with this. Grunge is just like taking over the world and nobody cares. And, that's also when MTV, like the end of the 90s is when MTV went to all those TV shows and quit playing music. And it just wasn't working, So we took a very long break. To make a long story short, in 2016, we got back together, even though, with the use of technology. And let's see, I'm in Arizona. Mike, my bassist, is in Virginia. My lead guitar player, who writes the bulk of the material, Sean, he's in Rhode Island. And then my singer, Rob, didn't stray too far from Youngstown, Ohio. Rob went to one of our favorite cities. He went with his family and lives in Pittsburgh. And I was tinkering with something, and we decided to get back together, and we all flew into Ohio. And there's a studio right on the Ohio-Pennsylvania line called Mind Rocket Studios. It's a good friend of ours, Josh Roman. It's his own studio, and he runs it and manages it, and mixes it, engineers. He's very good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just one of those people. I can't let stuff go or leave it alone. I always have to tinker. It's sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And we record. It was a great weekend. We did the whole album. I laid down all 8 drum tracks on Friday night. The guys did all the music on Saturday. And Sunday, we did some tweaks on vocals and flew home. It was that quick for the recording process. And me and Rob, my singer, were getting some mixes from Josh, and they were great. They were really good. But there's me being me, and I'm like, what if this is like the last thing we ever do together? I didn't know if we'd start playing out. At this point, we hadn't even planned a record release party playing live thing. We had nothing planned. We just knew that we wanted to rewrite some old songs, put some new songs down, and have something for ourselves to be proud of. And, because Love and War put out a disc right around the end of when we split up that we were very happy with, and it was in large part due to our management rushing it. So, we just want to do something cool, But me, I'm sitting there, what is the last thing we ever do? What could make this like off the hook cool? So I started going through all my vinyl records and looking at a lot of stuff that I grew up listening to, like because I always hone in on the early 80s Sunset Strip stuff. I love the early Rat. I love the early Dokken. I love the early Motley Crue. And lo and behold, there were three producers' names that kept coming up. One was Beau Hill, Michael Wagner, the other one escapes me right now. And back in the day, it was like a lot of red tape and impossible to get a hold of those guys, But in this day and age, with all the technology, I just shot off a quick email to all three of them, just curious if any of them would like to work with us on this record. And I don't even think it was 24 hours. And Michael responded to me right away and was like, I really like the tunes, and what do you guys think of doing? I think it was 48 hours later, we had studio time booked with him in his Wire World Studios in Nashville. And Rob and I went down and mixed the record with him. And I shouldn't say mixed it with him. We watched him mix it because he's just phenomenal what he does. And if that name doesn't ring bells with anybody in this genre or outside this genre, Michael has done, his stable of artists has sold over like 110 million records. And just off the top of my head, he's done Ozzy Osbourne, he's done Queen, he's done Skid Row. He was the very long-time producer and engineer for Dokken, those early Dokken records that everybody loves, like Tooth and Nail and Under Lock and Key, the Beast from the East, the live one that everybody loves. He did that stuff. And it was kind of a no-brainer. The guys didn't even believe me. I was like, hey, guys, I like Josh is, a quarter way into mixing this, but how cool would it be to have somebody like famous mix it and work with them? And they're like, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, well, Michael Wagner said he'd work with us. They're like, what? Like, they didn't believe me at first. I'm like, no, dude, I'm serious.
The Michael Wagner?
Yeah. I'm like, Skid Row, White Lion, Extreme, and it's just a list goes. Like, I don't know if anybody's heard it.
Warrant, Accept, Alice Cooper.
Oh, I know.
The
and
list
most
goes on.
recently, he did did you hear that new song, the new song right before Janet Gardner quit Vixen that he mixed? It sounds incredible.
No, I have
if
to
anybody
check that
hasn't
out.
heard it, if no one's heard it, go check it out. The video is cool too. As a matter of fact, they shot the video for it at the Whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's a new video. I think that single and that song came out under a year ago. It's really good too, so people should check it out. Michael mixed it and did a just phenomenal job on it. But a little known fact is he did the first. I like to bring this up because they're both Cat. He did the first Poison album. Look What the Cat Dragged In, and that's like my favorite record by them, hands down, music-wise, production-wise. But a lot of people don't know they're like a Rockers and Metalhead. As he mixed and produced Janet Jackson's single for the song Black Cat off of Rhythm Nation.
Oh, wow.
Which was a huge hit. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So a lot of times when like DJs, especially like, the internet DJs lately, in the past couple of years when we played our songs, you'd be like, you want us to play anything else? Look What the Cat Dragged In, followed by Black Cat by Janet Jackson. And they just kind of like look at me or, they're like, what? And I tell them, I'm like, look, you mixed it. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that, So it's kind of cool to hear those two songs back to back too. They're just both like slamming.
Well, I think it's
But
pretty.
yeah, Michael mixed it.
So Michael mixed the album, but the thing I find very cool is he's worked very closely with Dokken, and now all of a sudden you are going to be working with Dokken. You're opening up for them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I honestly can't. I wish it would have been like 20 years ago opening for Dokken, but I'll take it, man. At our age, it's time for bucket list gigs. It's like honing in and on certain places you haven't played before and bands you haven't played with, and we've always wanted to. I mean, my singer Rob, that's one of his. I think he has three major influences. I know one for sure is Tony Harnell from TNT, but I would say Don Dokken is right there with him for sure. He loves Don, and honestly, that's what drew me back in the day to Dokken was Don's voice. I just love Don's rasp and his writing, and it's it's huge for us. I mean, it's a huge bucket list gig, dream come true. I don't care if we're the band right before Dokken. We could have been the band first on that night. I'm just happy to be at the Whiskey A Go Go, playing on the stage the Motley Crue and Rat and all those bands played on, and Led Zeppelin and the Doors. You know, it's the same building, same stage, the same night the Dokken's playing. Is just freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think
The icing on the cake would be if the icing on the cake would be if I get my singer Rob on stage singing like a Dokken tune with Dawn that night. That'd be really cool.
that would be really cool.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna figure out a way to see if I can make that happen, but you never know.
Hey, you never know. I mean, I've been listening to your CD, and the track I really love is track number 3. It's called "Change of Frequency." There's a story behind that, right?
Yeah, totally. It's a long one, but I can keep it short. That whole thing about us having a gap about, you know, Love and War in the 90s to being 10 years or so off and then returning in 2016. That song is what got our band back together. That song is about losing someone you love. Mm-hmm. It was inspired by my wife lost her younger sister and was having a hard time coping with it. Mm-hmm. And what the crazy thing is, dude, is I've been never a good songwriter. Like, my lyrics are like, have been in the past have been like, wine me, dine me, come on 69 me, just total cheeseball garbage.
Like a Gene Simmons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Or I would start songs and then I wouldn't even finish them because they were so bad, and I shove them in a drawer somewhere. Uh-huh. And my wife was having a hard time, and she's from a large family, and I was having a hard time watching my wife go through this. Because I was a single child growing up, and I never experienced what she was going through, you know. Mm-hmm. And she was home in Chicago for the funeral, and I went to pick up my son at my mom's, who was being babysat, and I got in the truck, and I heard some song, and it had the phrase "change of frequency" in it, referring to radio stations being changed, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what a cool idea that would be for a song title. But if it was about a deceased person looking back and telling everybody they're okay and they're in a better place now, and that they'll see them one day, you know. And I wrote the lyrics to that song driving to my mom's, driving to the airport. It was done. And I told my wife about it, and she's like, oh, that's cool. And, like, I kind of blew it off, and we got home, went to bed. She went to work. The next morning, I had about an hour before I went to work. I wrote down every lyric that was in my head in 15 minutes. Done.
Wow.
And I showed it to her. Yeah, and I showed it to her when she got home. She's like, wow, that's really good. I'm like, I know, right? I even surprised myself. I'm like, that's kind of cool. We'll probably do something someday. And I don't know how much time went by. It could have been a couple years that thing sat. And one day I just got the itch to play again. And I got to trying to put a band together in Arizona, and technology came along. So I hit up my guitar player. I found him in Rhode Island, where he grew up. And I was like, dude, do you want to try writing a song, maybe just recording it for fun? And it's sort of steamrolled. And like, next thing we know, Change of Frequency is done, and everybody's excited. And it just ignited a spark. And there was another song we wanted to do really badly and put down on tape. We never got a chance to. Who the Hell Are You? That was kind of written about our band manager, and also kind of written about the times in the late 90s and what other bands like ourselves were going through. And you can look at it other ways too, but we wanted to get that down. We wanted to, you know, rewrite some songs that we did, and Change of Frequency totally was the catalyst of the whole thing. And it's cool that I'm surprised that was your favorite, because it's the most oddball song on the whole thing. But it is a cool tune, and Michael's production on that song is just fantastic. It gave me chills when I heard it when it was done. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm a radio guy, so anything that has the word frequency in it, you know, piques my interest. So I did right? I did kind of like was drawn to that song right away when I seen the title. But I also like Better Days as well. Better Days is a good song too. I love that one.
That song is my favorite riff on the whole album. That guitar riff is just killer, and that song is my Goosebumps song, because there was a certain way I wanted that song to sound, especially growing up listening to those early Dokken records, you know. Mm-hmm. And that song is the first one we mixed with Michael Wagner. And if people haven't heard me talk about our band before, a real quick story about that song is Rob got to Tennessee first, and I'm going to do this kind of quickly because I'm sure a lot of people have heard this. They started mixing. They were working on Better Days. I get there. We start talking, and I can't shut up. You know, I'm just geeking out, right? I probably Michael Wagner was like, oh, my God, I got to get this guy the hell out of my studio because he's going to stalk me for the rest of my life. Because I would not shut up about him and Dokken, you know? And so it was Dokken this, Dokken that, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, do you want to hear what we've got so far? I'm like, yeah, sure. So they played the beginning of the song up to the first chorus, and that's as far as they got. and the hair on my arms just stood up when I heard the first chorus, because it's a really up-tempo, like, ripping song at the beginning. You know, it kind of has that Mr. Big, addicted to that Rush intro to it, and then it goes in that back guitar riff, and you're like, oh yeah, man, start thrashing your head, and then it's put the brakes on at the chorus, and it has that huge harmony thing, you know, and it's just massive. And I always wanted it to be massive and pretty, and just like, I can't even explain it. It's just a feeling, you know. And I heard that chorus and the way he mixed it, and the hair on my arms just like tingled and stood straight up. And I was like, they're like, you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, whatever you're doing, I'm shutting up, and you guys go right ahead, you know. And when he finished, you know, we listened to it like twice. He's like, all right, one more time, and that's it. You know, if you guys are good, we're good. I'm like, okay. So we listened one more time. He's like, you guys good? I'm like, I'm good. And I'm like, Rob, you good? He's like, yeah. And Michael goes, all right, that's it. You guys are dockenized. And we, at the time, thought that was like the funniest thing, because like the rest of the time we were mixing songs, every time a song was done, he's like, all right, you're dockenized. Let's move on. So it was kind of like a catchphrase for the whole mixing of the record. But yeah, that song, the guitar lead in that thing, that's a killer tune. I like it a lot.
Now, you guys, you said you're re-releasing this album on another label. Is that correct?
Yeah, you know what? We didn't see it coming. I got to tell you, we did the CD. We put it out on our own. Like I said, we didn't know what the hell we were going to do. And I decided, I love marketing. I love the business side. So I decided, well, hell, you can, you know, I got help from my singer, Rob, and he and I kind of teamed up and put this thing out on CD on Amazon, and was not real happy with the quality of that Amazon release, by the way, but that's another story. And then we did a custom CD. We had some CDs ran off ourselves. I think we did about I can't remember, if it's 300 or 500. There were a lot better versions than the Amazon one. We sold out of those. And of course we had it on every digital platform you could possibly find, you know. Mm-hmm. And quite difficult feat trying to work a band that doesn't play out a lot and reach people who like this genre on the internet. A lot harder than people would think, you know. Internet's very filtered and all that kind of stuff. So here I am, since it came out in April of 2016. Still been working the record. I never gave up on it. I have a lot of belief in it. I think the songs are really good. I think it's mixed really well. Anybody that grew up liking that early 80s Sunset Strip stuff, that's what we are. You know, that's why we exist, is, you know, we love that stuff growing up, and it kind of got too polished and too bastardized towards, in my opinion, that's just my personal opinion. I don't know how the other guys in the band feel, because I'm the one that started the band, and that was why. Is you get towards the end of 80s, early 90s, it was just too like bubblegum pop metal for me. Uh-huh. And I like the edge, and I loved that edge and grittiness of those early Dokken records and Motley Crue. And we've been pushing it, never given up on it. And it's funny, man. It's like you spend money on boosting stuff and play a gig here and there and network socially with people, and there's still people finding it that are like blown away, that love it. And it's a great feeling in a way, but then in another way, you're like, well, where the hell have you been? Mm-hmm. It's because the internet is just so much garbage is on it, and also it's so filtered and controlled. You know, it's really hard, not as easy to reach people as people think. You know, and so honestly, we did a vinyl campaign, and it was to get it pressed on vinyl, and it had all new artwork, and that went very well, and that was successful. So yeah, so this vinyl campaign went well, and we, you know, shipped vinyl worldwide to everybody that ordered, and that was exciting. And at this point, I'm just like, I think all of us are just done with the record. We're like, ugh, shut up, done. And our plan was, we're moving on with, we're going to do a follow-up album of material, and we're also at the same time simultaneously working on a covers EP. And in the midst of all this, the whole plan was to start trying to play out in, you know, early 2019. Release an album in 2019. Well, you know, with our schedules being as insane as they are, a lot of the music's getting pushed back a little bit. But then this Dokken gig happened, and there's a guy I know that runs a label that was like, you know, you can't go into the whiskey and not have product. I'm like, dude, we're all out, you know. And I go, and I'm so burnt out on this record. He's like, yeah, man, but if you're gonna play more shows, you know, between your own internet sales on your website with a new product, and also playing more gigs, you'll sell them. He's like, they won't go to waste. You know, you'll definitely get to use them. He's like, so why don't we put it out? So there's an indie label we are working with, and Redemption Volume 1 is going to be reissued as Redemption Volume 1.5. And why we're calling it 1.5 is we're kind of poking fun of ourselves because this album won't seem to go away, number one. And number two, we think it's going to be album artwork based off the vinyl, but we're going to do it a little bit different, kind of like, you know, how Guns N' Roses did Use Your Illusion Volume 1 and 2, and they were kind of similar but different colors.
Right.
So the CD is going to be a little bit different color, and where the CD is going to be an upgrade over the vinyl is the vinyl, we had no option for the inner sleeve. It was just a solid black sleeve. Additional artwork, a lot of additional photos, and then it's going to also have all the lyrics to all the songs. So that's going to be kind of cool. And the icing on the cake for the reissue is we tentatively think our next album is going to be called Gasoline, because one of the brand new songs we first wrote for it is a love song I wrote about my wife called Gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like a crazy, heavy, fast song, you know.
Okay.
And did I send you the demo? Did I send you the demo of that one?
Yes,
Gasoline?
Yes, you did. I was gonna actually ask you about that song next, but you already started talking about it. So proceed.
Oh yeah, I don't shut up, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I love it.
Stealing your thunder. So the icing on the cake for the Redemption Volume 1.5 is going to be the demo version of Gasoline, just to give friends and fans like a taste of what's coming on the next record. So that's going to be kind of cool.
And you said
everybody.
That's a love song about your wife?
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd title, ain't it?
Yeah, it is, but it was kind of, you know, I don't like power ballads. I am one of the few guys that come out of the 80s where I hear like power ballads from you can name just about any band, and it makes me kind of want a little bit. I like mid-tempo rockers to upbeat, fast, riffy, heavy songs, you know. So like, you know, I like Alone Again by Dokken. I like Heaven Sent by Dokken. At the time, I liked Home Sweet Home.
Mm-hmm.
But then all these other bands just started regurgitating power ballads left and right, and I just was like, oh my God, make it stop, you know. So when I write, it's kind of like, you know, my wife and I have like a really kind of cool relationship, and she's kind of like the fire that gets me going, is kind of how I look at it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, you know, gasoline gets the engine going. So that's kind of like the approach I took to it. And you heard it, so it doesn't like a sappy love song, right?
No, it doesn't.
No, it's fiery and it's kick ass.
Yeah, it's definitely a more of an upbeat, kick ass song.
Yeah, it was, you know, I wrote about, God, it's funny, I never used to write, and that change of frequency gave me the bug, and I think I wrote about 12 to 15 songs for the new record.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they're all good. I mean, I think there's a lot of crap. But what the awesome thing is the main writer in our band is Sean, my guitar player.
Okay.
And he's just a virtuoso. He can write country songs, pop songs, Dio songs. Like there was a band back in Ohio named Wagner, and the lead guitar player is John Wagner. And John looked a lot like Ronnie James Dio, and it was funny because like his music was even very similar. And you know, he asked to work with Sean, and Sean wrote him like a killer Dio type song. It was amazing. And Sean is just fantastic. So, you know, I just write lyrics, takes and tweaks and makes it work. And change of frequency, I think he added like 2 lines and tweaked 2 lines. So that was pretty much untouched. Out of everything I sent him, the first thing he grabbed was Gasoline. I think he wrote Gasoline and sent it back to me within 48 hours. And it's, I was like, whoa. I was like, that's a lot heavier than I was expecting, but I liked it even more than what I was hoping for. So I was thrilled, you know. And I think Gasoline changed maybe the pre-chorus. He changed something, but the bulk of it is my lyrics, and it came out great. Yeah, so, you know, that's something we can't wait to like, you know, there's definitely going to be changes made on it. You know, there's,
mm-hmm.
you know, different drum stuff after having it. That's the one great thing about writing and have distance in between you. Stuff sits for a while, and you hear things, and you're like, oh, I want to do this instead. And you know, so the Gasoline that people are going to get on the next record might be a little bit different than this one, but it's still going to be the same melody line and same like up-tempo rocking song, but there might just be some different parts integrated, maybe a tempo change here or there, you know. But yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm really excited. It's going to be reissued, and excited about the new artwork on the CD and the bonus song going to be on it. So hopefully people will dig it. It'll be available at the show first, and then we're going to have it, you know, online and everywhere else right after we play the show. Because we also still have like an 8-song covers EP that we have pretty much ready to go. We know what songs they are. Process has already started, and the cover thing is going to be called We Salute You. Mm-hmm. And it's all kind of songs that kind of we're tipping the hat to some of those early hair band, you know, that really influenced us growing up. So, hopefully we're hoping the full length new release will be late 2019, and then the covers thing will follow it shortly in early 2020.
So it's going to be like
That's the plan.
so it's going to be like a Redemption 2, but you're calling it Gasoline.
Yeah, the initial idea was to go with Redemption Volume 2, but Redemption Volume 1 has just been worked for so long. It's kind of like beating a dead horse with that title.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we might just go all for it. It's more of a marketing thing, I think we just might go with a fresh take on it.
So
a new name.
So the show is that's coming up in April, correct?
Yeah, man, it's coming quick. It's crazy. We had the whiskey gave us 40 tickets that we had to sell on our part,
mm-hmm.
and we're down to just 7. We're down to just 7 pairs left. And if people are interested, even if you don't want to see us, the cool thing about it is you can get some cool crap from us buying the tickets and get a discount on the tickets, because the tickets, if you buy them online, are starting at $30
mm-hmm.
from the whiskey, and they go all the way up to like $600 for like a private booth and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we ate some of the money off the ticket price. So we're selling the tickets for $28 flat fee off our website only. So you have to go to apocalypticlovers.com and order from us, and you can get $28 flat rate tickets. And what I mean by that is there's no handling fees, no nothing. You just go to there, you choose how many tickets you want. $28 to go see Dawkins at the iconic Whiskey A Go Go on a Saturday night over spring break. At that, So it's a Saturday night, April 20th.
Okay.
And as long as you buy from us, then there's a couple cool incentives too. And honestly, you're the first show where I'm gonna even let the cat out of the bag on this. So what we're doing is we have all the tickets still, and we're working on a custom ticket package. So everybody that buys 40 tickets from us is going to get a custom ticket package in the mail. It's going to, A, look really cool, and B, inside of it is going to be a vinyl car window sticker of our Flying V Guy logo that can go on your outside of your windshield and withstand all weather circumstances, because I have one on my truck now for like 3 years, and I live in Arizona. It's not even cracked. Mm-hmm. So everybody's going to get one of those. So that's the small part, right? Then the other thing they're going to get in that envelope is a coupon, and the coupon enables them to go to our merchandise booth only. So that's the catch. They have to be at the show, go to our merchandise booth between 8 and 8:30 at the Whiskey, and they get a free copy of Redemption Volume 1.5.
Nice. So
every order gets a free copy. So Joe Schmo orders 3 tickets, his order gets 1 CD at the show. As long as he's at the show and picks it up between 8 and 8:30, he gets the CD for free. And then the third thing is, and I've kind of let this out already, but I don't know if a lot of people caught it. Everybody that shows up at the show and picks up their CD is going to get entered into a drawing, and then when our set is over, we're going to pull a winner, and that winner is going to get a copy of our album on vinyl too.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and we're happy to. And anybody that's at the show and has merchandise, we're going to all be there after the show, rocking with Dawkins. And if anybody wants anything signed, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of people that are going to want to do.
Because
they might want to do selfies and autographs, stuff like that.
Yeah. You get that, but then there's, I'm kind of one of those people that sometimes I don't like shit signed because I like the artwork so much. I don't want the signatures all over it,
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on what it is. Like one of my favorite things is that I own from back in the day is back when Dawkins got back together in I think it was 94, did the Dysfunctional tour. I met them and went bowling with them in Cleveland, Ohio. And while we were bowling, I had my Beast from the East on vinyl, and it's a double gatefold, and it opens up, and it's like a big Japanese flag. Uh-huh. Well, I didn't have them sign the outside cover. I opened it up and signed the Japanese flag on the inside, and it looks really badass.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's an option. They could always sign the paper sleeve. You could sign the paper sleeve on the inside instead of signing the actual cover, too.
Oh, that's a good point, too. Yeah, it's totally up to them, and we'd be happy to do anything. I'm just happy somebody's interested, so that's cool.
So it's April 20th? It's April 20th?
Saturday night, April 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's Dawkins at the Whiskey A Go Go in LA, and we have the 8:45 time slot, and we get to play a solid 30-minute set, and then Dawkins hits the stage at 11. So I think there's like just 2 bands after us, which is not bad at all, because I don't know about anywhere else, but like sometimes I'll go to a show here in Arizona, a couple venues, and they'll have like 8 or 9 bands opening for the headliner, and it's just like an all night and day thing. It's crazy. So, I think total that night there's 5 bands. So we're like sandwiched right in the middle. There's 2 that go on before us. Mm-hmm. Then we're on at 8:45, and then there's 2 bands after us, and then boom, Dawkins. So, people can grab a bite to eat at the world famous Rainbow, and and then come over at 8:30 and hunker in and get their new merchandise and CD and see us play.
And the website to get the tickets again?
It's just our bandname.com, so it's apocalypticlovers.com.
That's
There's
awesome.
a big, huge run on top of the homepage. It's, buy discounted tickets here or something like that. It's a very easy process. I used to work in the ticketing business, and I think like Ticketmaster and a lot of those places, they just rape customers. And so I actually used the same ticketing system for when we played our no fees for anybody. Not a lot of bullshit on it. It's just very easy to do. So it's very, very customer friendly.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thanks for reaching out to me and coming on the show today and talking to me. I really appreciate it.
I know you got to go, dude. But if I win the lottery, you got a ticket and a plane ticket waiting. If I win the lottery, to come to our LA show.
That would be awesome. Cool story. About the band and how you hooked up with Wagner and how you're doing the reissue and the show at the Whiskey A Go Go. I look forward to hearing about that as well. Post some videos and some pics on that, and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you very much for having me, and all the best to everybody out there trying to keep this genre alive. Just keep rocking.
Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angry. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. As you gather around by your nation. We
just need a change of frequency. One day you will be right beside me, but for right now I just change frequency. I'm in the air you breathe. Now you all will see I just need a change of frequency. One day you will be right beside me, but for right now I just change frequency. Say goodbye to all your sorrows, live your lives, 'cause it's not over. Every day is a fall-leaf clover. With your love it's not over. The time has come and the end is near. The only thing is you.
All things, endures all things. Love never ends. Love never fails.